Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Football Focus SG podcast with myself, Ais, and our football expert, Harun Nazri Hanafi, and our pundit expert himself, Mr. JB. Welcome back, you guys.
Hi. Hope all is well, everyone.
Yeah,
Yeah, nice to hear again. One more episode. Let's go.
yeah, football is doing well, especially EPL is back. SPL is running in full force now. Almost every day there are matches going on around us. According to based on our last episode that we have discussed about some of the teams, a little bit of preview about how some results that's gonna affect them. We're gonna look into that as well today. So yeah, sticking to the SPL. Um, what do you guys think so far? Any surprise results to you guys so far? Or any results that catches your eyes?
I think after the international break, I think Geylang had a little bit of a boost. I think with the signings that they made with Afiq Yunus, Abdul Kaim, and I think the central midfielder Daniel Kim, if I'm not wrong, if that's his name. I think he's doing really well. He's bringing stability into the midfield, to the central midfield, and I think that in a way frees up Barry Maguire of sorts. Is proving more pivotal for the squad now. But having said that, they just had an upset earlier today, uh, which I never saw coming. It was a game of two halves. Um, and to add on, I think Young Lions is doing pretty well. They had a great match earlier in the day as well. But I won't say a bit of a letdown. I think saying a bit of a letdown is too big of a phrase. I think Hougang, they did pretty well before they were doing very well before the international break. Then coming back after the international break, I think injuries plays a part, and I'm a bit wary of Hougang United because I think they're treading on a fine line.
Yeah.
It can either go upwards or downwards for them. For the rest of the teams, I think LCS, we expect them to be there. Albrecht, we expect them to be there. Balestier not having a good season. So, yeah, I think that's about it from me, man.
All right. Mr. JB, how about you? Is there any matches that you watch that you find it amazed about? Any results that surprise you? Like share with us which match highlights the SPL match so far for this week.
Well, I mean that's the beauty of our SPL at the moment. I think it's very interesting. You get all kinds of upsets, but for me, it would have to be. I mean, before today's game, I think the closest one, or I would say the one that stands out, is have to be Albirex upset against Tanjung Pagar. I think that one
Yeah.
took everybody by surprise.
Yeah.
But after that again, I mean, looking at today's result, I think Young Lions surprised us as well against Balestier, picking up quite a big victory 4-2. And I think overall our SPL is doing great. But I would say if I can sum things up, I think Tanjung Pagar looks good ever since after the international break so far. I think they are the most outstanding one. They did a great job signing Shaki in. I remember watching his debut. I think it was against Geylang when they lost. So
And own
it's
goal as
quite,
well.
yeah, exactly. But after that, I believe he managed to pick himself up. He's an experienced player. Um, I like his style. He's rough, no nonsense, and you know what I'm saying. They managed to grind out the results as they did against Geylang earlier today. Two goals down, coming back. Uh, Props to them. But I think the one that frustrates the most for me is Balestier. Reason being is that okay, the results obviously we can see on paper it's not doing well, but they have no problem scoring.
Yeah.
If you look at all their games, they have been scoring, especially Zuzul. I'm not sure if he's close to the top scorer right now because he's been scoring at least the past 2-3 games, at least. Even earlier today against Young Lions, he scored 2. So you see, again, I mean, it shows that you can be scoring goals, but that doesn't win you games sometimes because defense is probably key. And I think Geylang as well. I think uh, their defensive problem occurred again in the second half, not doing so good. Yeah, but to me, I'm still looking forward for Lion City Sailors as well. I believe their next game is against Tampines Rovers tomorrow, I believe. Yeah, so I think it's time to see them, really pick up the tempo. A lot of talk, a lot of hype, a lot of things going on. I mean, all kinds of activity going on. Live City Sailors, new manager, Haris Harun, all this. Shadan is back, so you can tell that there's a lot of expectation going on for Lion City Sailors. Um, Again, it's great to see that finally our local clubs are actually putting some form of pressure against Albirex Niigata, who again, credit to them. Despite we see them finally dropping points, showing that they're no longer invincible, but again, if you look at the table, they are still comfortably at the top. So yeah, so for me, I mean, exciting things ahead, definitely.
All right, most definitely. But I'm just gonna stick on to one club first, and I would like to ask Harun Nazri for this, based on your coaching experiences. Mr. JB point out that I think among all the clubs, I think Tanjung Pagar has been pretty much excelling well after the international break. Yeah, basically after the international break, they won Hougang, they won Albirex, they make a comeback against Geylang today. They prove an upset over Albirex. Only that one loss against Geylang just 2 weeks prior to their comeback against Geylang tonight. So what do you think is a major change? Like, what do you see the difference in them before the international and maybe after? Like, what do you see? What actually galvanized them to suddenly turn around a lot in the result?
Okay. First and foremost, for everyone listening, I haven't been coaching at the top level just yet. I'm still coaching youngsters, but I do have some playing experience at the senior level. So, you know, I think I've mentioned before, with Tanjung Pagar, I think at the very start of the season, a downside to me for the squad. This is at the very start of the season. I mentioned something along the lines of the coaching staff. We got Coach Hasrin over there, and then we have Alam Shah as the team manager, and then we have in the backgrounds actually we have a few coaches down there. Coach Herman handling. If I'm not too sure his role there, but I know he's over there, Coach Herman, someone who's well known in the coaching circle as well. And they have one more coach. I'm not too sure his name, but they have quite a setup over there. And at the start of the season before the international break, I think we can all agree that the performance was a bit up and down because with the players that they brought in, Nigu, I can't pronounce his name correctly. I'm sorry. With Rio coming in, and then we have Blake coming in. I think people were expecting a lot more from Tanjung Pagar, and thank God after the international break, somehow it seems like I wouldn't say that they're performing at the top of people's expectations. People's expectation of Tanjung Pagar with the players that they have is winning every game and losing the one-off matches. I feel that's my thing with the players that they have. And as of now, if you're asking me as of now, I think I won't say that they're grinding out results, but the things that they are doing as a squad is what fits the mold of the team. We have Shake in the back line, no nonsense player, and I don't see him. You don't see him commanding as much on the field. Like shouting to his players and whatnot. We see Faris doing that, but Shake is more of the quiet leader, and we know Faris. Faris is a vocal player. Faris Hamid. Yeah. We have Delwinder as a central partner. And Delwinder, for all of what people want to say about him, he's a seasoned campaigner as well. He has had experience at SPL. Yeah, he has some playing experience from other clubs previous. Of course, we have Blake in the middle. Up front, we have Mota. Scored a beauty against Albirex.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
And I feel they're just getting it right with the players that they have. Of course, if we can sit down with Blake and we ask him what kind of football we prefer to play, I think he would say not the kind of football that Tanjung Pagar is playing now, but the model professional that he is. I think he fits and he buys into. I don't know whether he buys into whatever that Tanjung Pagar is trying to do, but I think he's making it work. The rest of the squad, as a unit, they're making it work. They know they're not at that level to play the tippy-tappy football like Albirex does, like Tampines does. So they're going about it in their own way, which is grafting, hard work, a little bit of Atletico Madrid back in the day before they could sign, lots of players. So, they're just making it work with the players that they have. They're
Is it
grinding it
more
out.
like just grinding out
And,
the results? Is it like just
I think,
grinding the results more than the style of play
I,
that they're trying to achieve?
okay, if you ask me as a layman, as a person, as a neutral person who's not supporting any team, who's just watching teams, watching all the matches, the vibe that I get from Tanjong Pagar is you don't mess with us. That's the vibe that I get. You
Yeah.
don't mess with Shake. You don't mess with Farid. You don't mess with Blake. I think, and just by saying that, the unity in the team is you don't mess with us. You mess with one of us, that means you're messing with every one of us. It's not about instilling fear to the rest of the teams, but
It's creating a
there is a
fortress.
psychological, there is a psychological advantage when you can get in the heads of your opponent. And I think if the whole group has that mentality that, we're together as one, you touch one of us, you're touching the rest of us as well.
Yeah.
It bodes well. If that is the camaraderie that they need, and if that is the thing that is putting them together or pulling them together as a group, brilliant, mate. I got no complaints. And as long as they keep on churning results, who's gonna complain at the end of the day?
Yeah.
And I've said it before. You can have your style of play, you can have this, you can have that, you can have this, you can have that. At the end of the day, it's the 3 points. It's the win. If you can do whatever it takes to win, by all means, I'm happy for you guys. So yeah.
And all right. And sticking on to the clubs that are doing well, which is Young Lions. I'm gonna go to Mr. JB for this. I know Harun Nazi, you have backed them up all the way. And we have I believe you have shared a lot of fair point and view about Young Lions this season alone. But Mr. JB, on to you about Young Lions. This is their second win basically in 2 weeks, and that is something that not many people may see every day. According to our previous episode, I think Mr. Jeff has mentioned that the only the only thing about Young Lions is that the only thing that doesn't change about them is the position. That's the word that he says. So with this current squad and the current momentum that they're going and the fight that they're trying to do you think that, it's too early for us to write them off? Because practically it is only 14, 15 matches played. There are still more than 10 matches, a lot of matches to be played. Basically, they can collect more points, right? I mean, what do you think, Mr. JB? Do you think that are those wins by Young Lions considered a fluke, or is it just credits to them?
Yeah, I definitely feel it's credits to them because at the end of the day, football requires teamwork and I believe consistency. I mean, coming from a layman, I'm just saying as a fan, we can definitely see them improve. Yes, people may look at the stats and go like, oh, it's only 2 wins. They still lose the rest of the matches. But if you take a look at the way they play right now, it's definitely miles ahead compared to last season. I believe Coach Philip Au is doing a very good job trying to gel these boys together. And there are a couple of standouts. Hami Shaheen, Jacob Mahler. These guys are leaders. You know what I'm saying? These guys are leaders. Yeah, definitely. I can see them, becoming leaders, in the future, in any of the SPL clubs, no problem. Ilhan as well, coming in all fine. So yes, I do believe it takes time, sometimes for consistency to happen, Just to give an example, again, I'm going back to Tanjong Pagar, not because I'm a fan of them, but at the same time, I feel that you gotta give them credit where it's due. They just came back from last season, right? After a long hiatus, being away from the league. So obviously last season wasn't their best. We all know where they finished. They had a poor season. But again, they are trying to build the foundation. And you can see that this season, later on, although yes, at the start of the season, still, a rocky start here and there. But you can see now, Luis Jr., Khairul Amri, they kind of get the chemistry with each other, Rio Nigi, I'm sorry, I can't pronounce his last name, but yeah, Rio. Yeah, Rio, basically. Yeah, I mean, you can tell that all of them, Blake, they're slowly coming together. They're slowly understanding the kind of football that probably, the team manager wants to play, the coach wants to play. So sometimes it takes time. So I believe that young Lions as well do take the time. They do need the time, but at the same time, I can see that, now's the right time for them to, slowly, push on the pedal a little bit, because young Lions have always been, I don't know. I mean, from a fan perspective, I'm not too sure about what's going on behind the scenes or in the club. But from a fan perspective, you look at like young Lions, you're like, oh, this is just a development team. You know, they're not serious about it. So we are always writing them off. We are always looking at them as okay. No surprises. They're always gonna finish there, and then we're gonna see like how many wins that they can come out with, and how many players are gonna transfer out. So I find that, from a fan perspective, it's quite sad to see, if you're always looking at, young Lions as just a ladder or perhaps just a stepping stone for you to do better. But at the same time, I feel that in football, any team that you form is still a team. And at the end of the day, as footballers, you want to do well for your team. You know what I'm saying? Even no matter how much you see the future, definitely, you see Young Lions as not your long term how to say it, like a long-term club per se.
Yeah.
But yeah, for a surprise, this season you can tell that they are finally, finding their footsteps, getting into gear. I believe the coach is doing very, very well. I really hope to see the coach stay and, bring out the best out of these players. So for me, position-wise, I don't know, man. I mean, looking at the table right now, I believe they are the same points with Balestier, I think, if I'm
Yeah,
not
it's
wrong.
only separating by goal difference.
Separating by
Because
goal
Young
difference.
Lions
So
has a massive negative goal difference.
yeah, so for me as a layman looking at it, they are on form right now. You're trying to get 2-3 wins in a row. Hey man, go for it. Go for it, man. You know what I'm saying? Just
Yeah.
aim,
Yeah.
aim for the best. You know what I'm saying? That's
So-
all that matters.
Faiz, maybe I want to add on. If
Okay.
coming again, I spoke about Young Lions before. I'm a
You're a big fan
neutral,
of them.
but if I wouldn't say I'm a big fan. I don't support any team. I just like to watch football. But I second what Mr. JB mentioned. I like what they're doing with the football this season. But I feel if we are from a fan perspective and from an outsider's perspective who wants now, okay, I transition into coaching. Of course, I want to see the youngsters doing well. At the end of the day, it only bodes well for the country, right? So I feel for this season, not say we should not look at the league standing at all. I think their massive test, the league, it's only a preparation phase for them for the big test coming in October. And in October, we have the AFC Under 23 competition for them.
Yeah.
And I feel we as fans or as supporters of the Singapore football scene, we should only judge Young Lions then. When October comes, when we are hosting the AFC Under 23 qualifiers, then only can we judge the team. Because, from January all the way leading up to October, it's a long time. It's a 9 months period.
A lot of preparation.
A lot of preparation, maybe even started from last season and then it brings over to this season. So I feel with regards to Young Lions, again, I'm not backing them up. I'm not carrying any ball sacks or whatnot. So I feel us as a nation, as football fans who wants to see progress in Singapore football, and trust me, as a coach and also as a layman, I think there's a lot of talent in the squad. A lot, I'm telling you, a lot.
Yeah.
So I think us as local football supporters, let's give them a chance. Let's not judge them on when they finish the league this season. Let's judge them in October. When the qualifiers come, once the qualifiers is done, then we see. I'm not doing this to bash them. Once the qualifiers is done, give them time to prep. They're doing a great job. The football is beautiful. Let's see in October. And then we talk about them again. And then we judge them again. Come October.
Sure. I mean, we're definitely gonna get back to you guys about that. Basically, their progression wise, how are they gonna provide a competition wise to our SPL? And speaking about the competition, here's the one question that I've always wanted to ask you guys. So basically, before the international break, pretty much about 1-2 months ago, before the Euros, we see our SPL table being massively segregated to two halves. The top four and the bottom four with a massive point gap, right? That's what we saw. And throughout these 2 weeks, we have seen the top four falling off to different type of results. Albirex lost to Tanjong Pagar, Lion City Sailors draw to Balestier, Hougang losing left and right now, except for Tampines because due to their AFC and all, they have not played SPL since international. But do you guys see this now as the bottom half closing the gap to the top half, making it more competitive again? Because again, like I said, let me try to emphasize this more. There's still a lot more matches to go. There is still a lot. It is not like 5 more matches. It is not 2-3 matches. There's more than 10 matches to go. You can collect more than 30 points if you get the winning streak running. So what do you guys think? Is that major gap difference of top 4 and bottom 4 is finally going to close up by this string of performance by the bottom half? Or is it pretty much the top 4 still just going to be the top 4 that's fighting for the race? I'm going to go with Harnazi first to answer this.
If you ask me, I can't give you an answer right now because I think I have to look at the fixtures list and whatnot.
Yeah.
But off the cuff, you mentioned, has the point gap been reduced between the top 4 and the bottom 4? Has it?
Okay, I can tell you that after tonight's Tanjong Pagar win, Tanjong Pagar is now 5th, Tampines is 4th. The point gap is only 5 points. Yeah.
Okay.
But,
okay, so,
but of course, Tampines has not played since international. They have
course.
3 matches in hand.
All right. So and I think with that it only bodes well for Tampines, because they have the chance, they have had the opportunity to watch the others learn. Gavin has the opportunity to watch the others learn and then improvise and then work along the way. And it only bodes well for Tampines. And I feel the rest of the clubs, coaches should be a little bit upset and angry with that. Yeah, again, they went for AFC, represented the country. They had some COVID issues here and there, but football is football. To answer your question, whether the points gap will be reduced or whether we'll see.
Basically, would there be like competition again on the fighting for places?
Okay, I think the top 3 will be the top 3. I think
you're calling it already. Top 3 is gonna be top 3.
Yeah, I think the top 3 will be between LCS. I'm not saying who's gonna finish where.
Yeah,
I'm just saying the top 3 will be. I say the top 3 will be between LCS, Albirex, and Tampines. This will be the top 3. I think the gap between 4, 5, 6 might be reduced. We might have a closer point gap between this range. For the cellar dwellers, bottom table, let's be honest, I think things are not looking up for Balestier, right? And I think this is coming from me. I'm not speaking on behalf of you guys. I just hope things get better for them. But for now, based on what I've seen, it's going to be difficult for Coach Marco and Balestier. So yeah, that's my answer.
All right, Mr. JB, over to you. Same question to you. Are you able to see a fight in SPL again? Or would there still be a segregation of top half and bottom half?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I agree with you when you mentioned that there are still games. As long as there's still games, there's still points, right?
Yeah.
Points to be dropped, points to be won. But the problem is that, I mean, the tale of two halves, basically the table, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, let's be honest here, okay? As a fan, right? I'm gonna be all blunt here, but SPL is definitely not the easiest league in the world to predict. Every game,
very unpredictable.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the form guide, you can close that form guide up because it's not gonna help anything, really. The form guide, just throw it away.
Not even
forget
a pandit could help.
Not, yeah, you know what I'm saying. Forget it. The scoreline itself, oh man, the scoreline is just look at today's game basically. The scoreline itself, what? Young Lions and Balestier Khalsa, 6 goals amongst them. Come on.
Yeah, and Geylang was doing well, 2-0 at start.
Yeah,
before Tanjung
There you go.
Pagar ran riot.
There you go. So you see, it's not the most easiest league to predict. I'm not saying it's a good or bad thing. You guys, the listener, decide whether it's a good or bad thing. Okay, I don't bet professionally. I don't bet all that, so I don't know. But that's the thing. So when the form guide isn't so clear, anything can happen, man. I mean, it's just that lah. Anything can happen.
I mean, that kind of
I
brings
hope
a bit more excitement to the competition, isn't it? The
exactly,
unpredictables, the results that we
exactly,
see, the comebacks and all that. So
exactly. Which is why
You
I'm
know, and
rallying anyone, yeah, to who's listening to this. Please watch our league because yes, it's fun not just because it's our local league, but it's fun because look at the scoreline. Every game you get a different scoreline, man.
a very high
You
score
have
line
Beles.
sometimes, yeah.
I mean,
yeah,
just
and
take a look
this
at Beles. Yeah,
and just to add on, this reminds me when Mr. JB and Faiz, both of you mentioned, uh, it is very difficult to predict our league, the matches, and
Yeah.
this reminds me of the Japanese league, of what is going on every season in the Japanese league. Sometimes you'll be surprised in J1, the top of the Japanese league.
Yeah.
One season you can be the champion, the next season you might be 14th.
Yeah.
The next season, exactly the next season, you can be 14th. And this only reminds me of that. One season you can be top 3, the next season you can be 14th, 13th, or 12th. So that and if you ask me as a fan, as a football fan, I love it.
As a neutral,
Unpredictability.
of course, we all love it. Yeah.
Yeah, we love it, because the excitement, I won't say that the excitement is there, but just just from the fact of it being unpredictable, it makes it difficult for us to predict. And now, before this, I think like you guys mentioned before this, we also when it comes to Albrechts, they're gonna top the league, they're gonna win all matches, and then they lost to Tanjung Pagar.
Yeah.
And it's the beauty of the game. It's just the beauty of the game. That's brilliant, brilliant.
It is.
exactly, man. So going back to the point, you know what I'm saying? I mean, it's very, very hard to predict. There's a surprise element there. I mean, just look at Balestier. Before tonight's game, when they fall to Young Lions, they put on a masterclass performance against Lion City Sailors.
Yeah.
The coach got everything
Yeah.
right. They frustrate them from the first minute to the last. Lion City Sailors is like, oh no, you know what I'm saying? Like we ran out of all our game plan A, game plan B, game plan C. Now what are we gonna do? Oh, we're gonna throw our defender, make him a striker. Let's do this, let's go. You know what I'm saying? So you know what I'm saying? It's fun. Okay, to be honest, all you listeners out there, if you are, I mean, if you have not been following our local league, please watch. All right, at least for starters, okay, perhaps you don't want to watch Young Lions, try to watch Lion City Sailors or Tampines Rovers. You know what I'm saying, you'll have a blast. You know what I'm saying. And for me personally, as a fan, going back to your question, Muhammad Faiz, I think yes, I do believe that the top 5 from number 1 to number 5 spot, I'm not gonna say who because it's still long, but I'm gonna say that the top 5 will be close. Okay, first spot to fifth spot will be close. 6, 7, 8, I believe, perhaps. I don't know. I mean, this is just speaking from fan point of view. Again, it's very difficult to predict, but I'm just saying 6, 7, 8 will be closer among each other. But I believe that from fifth onwards, and we all know which team is in fifth right now. I'm not gonna say it, but people will call me biased. All right, but I feel that
I
1 to
can see you
5.
turning to be a Jag now. I can see.
Hey, come on now, hey. I'm gonna say loud and proud. I'm an LCS fan. All right, let me just get out there. All right, I'm an LCS fan. But there are sometimes teams that surprises you, teams that you feel that hey, you know what I'm saying, actually this team is not too bad. And I see Tanjung Pagar improving time and again. I was there watching them last season. It was such an heartache to watch them, especially the last like 5-10 games where they just lose it. So to now suddenly see them slowly climbing, I'm happy for them. To be honest, I'm very, very happy. So for me, yes, 1 to 5 is gonna be close. 6, 7, 8 is gonna be close among themselves. Not too much touching the top 5. For me, my wish as a local fan is the number 1 spot. Please. That is the only thing that's been consistent for the past few seasons. Come on, number 2 and number 8. Take over the number 1 spot, please. Don't fight among yourselves. Don't go like, hey, come on, we're gonna, just fight 6, 7. No, no, no. Come on. You all should come together and get that first spot away from LB Rex. Again, I'm not discrediting LB Rex. That's why they've been so good. They've been doing it so well consistently. Different coaches, different players, different systems. They've been consistent, man. And they are the so-called the gold standard right now. I'm not saying that the rest of our clubs are not doing well or don't have that standard. But naturally, come on, you you need a benchmark. And sadly, our league benchmark for the past few seasons has been them, has been LB Rex, and previously was Brunei DPMM. So for me now, I'm just urging all of them to please get over the top spot. I was so happy when Tanjong Pagar did that upset for us against LB Rex. Again, I'm sorry, LB Rex. I love
Again,
you guys. You
bias.
guys are great.
Yeah. Slowly turning from
Hey,
blue to the reds. I
hey,
can see that.
come on. It's it's LB Rex first loss, right?
Yeah, it is.
Right? Right? It's LB Rex first loss.
Yeah.
Even if Young Lions were to do it, I'll be singing praises, all right? Because deep down, I just want our local team to do well. And after that brilliant result happened, we all know what happened to LCS and Balestier. So you see, it's a very interesting league, colorful league. I believe that we are in for a ride, and I'm so happy that our league is slowly opening up now. Fans can go in. If you guys have the time, please go down the stadiums, fill it up, watch the game, and I believe that we're gonna have a good league this season. My gut feeling as a fan, I believe this season will be very, very interesting. A lot of table changing position and everything else. So props to them. It's not easy. A lot of disruption, COVID breaks here and there, international break. But then again, you see, they come back together as a unit. Now my next test will be Tampines Rovers. As you mentioned, they have games in hand, but we don't know the shape of that team after that brutal AFC Champions League run. Okay, that thing is
Yeah.
brutal. You know what I'm saying? That
Yeah,
thing is
it
very, very
was. It
brutal.
was. Despite them
Yeah, I
playing
believe
well, but the results has been pretty brutal.
exactly. So let's hope that campaign doesn't break them. Let's hope
Yeah.
that they manage to come back as a unit, because I trust me, that kind of result will either break you or make you. You know what I'm saying? It's looking at the cup, whether it's half empty or half full. I'm sure those experienced players won't have a problem. I believe by Haki and probably Daniel Bennett and all those experienced ones will probably won't have a problem, going in. So that's where I believe their experience play a part the most. They need to rally the squad together. We don't know what kind of shape they're in. I mean, I believe I heard recently by Haki mention, I don't remember which podcast, but I heard some snippet of him saying that it's not easy for them 2 months away from the family
Yeah.
and finally get to come back again, just meeting their family and then need to
I
find
think
their
it was
footing again
a
for the league.
Rich Rohan Rai podcast. One of
Yeah,
the yeah.
exactly. That's the one. That's another brilliant podcast as well to listen.
Yeah.
So yeah, so 2 months away, not easy for them. So yeah, I'm looking forward to tomorrow's match between LCS and Tampines Rovers. More for Tampines Rovers to see how they pull out the legs, man. So let's move on.
All right, just one last quick question to stick on to SPL before we move on to another topic for our day. Just a very quick one. Prediction for the big match that has been postponed more times than I can remember. Probably more than, maybe some weddings out there. Lion City Sailors versus Tampines Rovers. So just in brief word, Mr. JB, yeah, I'm gonna go with you first for this, Mr. Jag or Mr. LCS or Mr. JB yourself. Who's gonna win? LCS versus Tampines in the top half.
Sorry, can you repeat the last question? There was a lag just now.
Oh, basically, your predictions of who's gonna win, LCS versus Tampines.
Well, I'm gonna be biased. It's definitely LCS, but again, looking at their form, it doesn't look so good, to be honest. I mean, I'm not
Basically,
sure the
both
kind of
clubs
system that
coming
they're trying to
off
play.
not so good. Basically,
Yeah,
yeah,
yep, correct. LCS, I don't know. I mean, looking at their past two games under the new coach, I haven't seen much. I mean, I haven't seen that much game plan moving forward, perhaps. I mean, I'm just looking from behind the screen, don't judge me. But doesn't seem to have that plan, or perhaps that cohesiveness, that gel that you need as a squad. Defensive wise, um, I would say hit or miss. They have a solid goalkeeper in Hassan. No problems in midfield so far. Shadan and Haris is there. But I'm a bit concerned, especially for Stipe. I'm not sure if he has been scoring, but he seems to, I
a
don't
little
know.
bit quiet.
Yeah. I mean, a little bit quiet by by probably the Brazilian. Um, I don't recall his name right now, but yeah, I mean, definitely probably overshadowed by him. I'm not too sure.
Yeah.
But again, Rovers, wow. I mean, it's difficult to predict because they are away for quite a while from the league. But I'm gonna say that sadly, as much as I want LCS to do well, I think it's gonna be a draw.
It's gonna be a
I
draw.
think it's gonna be another draw. Yeah. I think it's gonna be another draw. How much the scoreline? I can't quite make it up right now. But my gut feeling say that it's gonna be another draw. But I'm hoping that, result aside, I'm really hoping the LCS put up a better performance compared to their last two games. And definitely for Rovers, I think huge expectation for them. But I think a draw would be a good start probably.
Okay. Over to you, Harun Nazri. Who do you think is gonna win between LCS and Tampines? Just a reminder as well, both of them has a lot of game in hand, and they are fighting basically to catch up over Albirex slip up, especially with the Tanjong Pagar recently. So who do you think is gonna win?
Okay. I don't know if I'm being biased or whatever you can call it, but I want LCS to win. Why?
Oh, wow.
I want LCS to win, and I'm gonna tell you my reasons. Number one, with the infrastructure that they have. Again, like I repeat, I'm not being biased to all the other clubs in Singapore, but with the infrastructure that they have, with the cash that they have, with the ownership that they have, with whatever that's going on with the club right now, the top class academy, they are building a top class academy. With whatever that they have right now, I think I'm looking at the big picture. I'm not just looking at the league. Um, I'm looking at the big picture where, with all the infrastructure that they have, I think they would be a good representative for us in the AFC Champions League next season. And in order for them to get into the AFC Champions League, they have to either finish as champions or they have to finish second place behind Albrecht. Of course, I want them to finish as champions, so people can say, they second place and you're still in the AFC Champions League. But again, as you mentioned before this, there are still a lot of matches to play. Lion City Sailors, after the change of manager or the coach, they have not been performing well. I'll be upfront and I'll be bold. They have not been performing well, at least to my expectations. I felt, they created a big buzz, a big hoo-ha, and they brought in an AFC Champions League winner of a coach. And when they brought in Faris Ramli, when they brought in Haris Harun, our national team captain, so they created a buzz. But I feel local fans and supporters, it is simple to just say, hey, you get the money, you have the money, so you have to win now. Of course, everyone can say that, but you have to look at the football side of things. It's not plug and play in football. It's not just take one player here, transfer him over there, ta-da, magic. Things will be rosy.
But do you think that with that kind of expenses they have, they just kind of not just creating a buzz, but creating a very high expectation on themselves?
Of course.
Let's give an example, like PSG. They make a lot of quality signing, and everyone just says if they don't win the Champions League, it's a massive failure.
Of course. See, and I think, and I bet you when the owners of SPL Sailors took over the club, I bet he had that in mind. And I bet he told the current CEO, I think he's not the CEO, he's the owner, and then there's a new CEO in place, and then they have the general manager, Bantry. I bet you he would have told them, dude, I already invested in your club. I want this. For sure, that's going to happen. And when that happens to the management team, of course, it's going to spill over to the manager, and then of course, it's going to spill over to the players as well. They have a huge load on their shoulders, for sure. Even if the team manager, even if the club or the owners say, look guys, we just started this project, don't worry, I'm going to give you 2-3 seasons, and then we can start winning. Bullshit, rubbish, I don't buy that. As players, as national team players, as players who are experienced, as players who are of top quality, you want to be winning all matches. You want to be winning the important matches. You want to be winning the non-important matches. You want to win the league as quickly as possible. You want to be competing at the top and the highest level of football, which is the AFC Champions League. So, of course, they put pressure on themselves. And, I bet the players have that chip on their shoulder. So, if I were to regress and I go back to the topic, why I want to go Lion City Sailors to win is, as I mentioned, I want them to be the one representing us in the country, at least for now. Until a takeover happens at some of the club, then, and I mentioned this before, when we have more money being pumped into the league, when we have takeovers happening in clubs, I tell you, not only will the crowd come in, the football will be better, the quality of players. I'm not saying that the quality of football is shit in Singapore now. It's not. I do see quality as compared to 2, 3, 4, 5 seasons ago. I think last season and this season, we are seeing quality, not only from the senior players, but also the under 23 players. Just look at Young Lions, just look at the under 23 players that we have in the various clubs. Patula and Tanjung Pagar, we have Geylang has Arif Kanadi, they have Umar, they have a lot of players elsewhere in clubs. So we have Idraki, Anggang, Farhan.
I mean, the
We have a
future
lot of
is
talent.
bright. Is bright.
Yeah. So I feel, of course, the big picture, I want a lot of new ownership in clubs, and then the league will prosper, the quality will get up. But for now, back to the match, and regress all the way to my full cycle. I want Lion City Steelers to win, and hopefully by them winning the match against Tampines, it only kick on the rest of the season for them. Because truth be told, they haven't been performing well since the change of coach. So I hope this can be the catalyst for them to, push on, man.
Yeah, most definitely. I'll give a bit of my brief. Basically, I feel that it's going to be a very close game. Reason being because, yes, both are not really coming off from a win or kind of a momentum that they want to. But I would say the one that may have the slighter advantage or the upper hand might be Tampines, because Tampines, yes, AFC has been very hard, but they are coming back off to trying to bounce back from the Champions League to the league now. So I think with amount of their preparation and time and all, it's given that they have more time to prepare, there should be no reason for them to actually be going for a draw or whatsoever. They should be really going all out for a win. But personally, also I feel like it could end up in a draw. That's pretty much how it is.
And added bonus for them is they have a lot of mouths to shut. After all the commentary about them participating in the AFC Champions League, they have a lot of mouths to shut. So come on, players for Tampines Rovers, step up. Step up and be counted. Push, shut all the naysayers' mouths up, and we're all rooting. At least me, I'm rooting for you. But of course, for this match, I want Lion City Sailors to win.
Yeah, that's
No,
you,
that is-
Mr. Controversial.
that is-
That's you.
That is very, very contradicting. But at the end of the day, yes, come on, Rovers, prove naysayers like me wrong. All right, just get your head in the game, put your head high, and prove to us that football is football, lah. Results, good or bad, the past is past one. People will talk about it, but people always look forward to the next one. So, hey, if you can win against LCS, it's a good thing, right? Looking at the quality that they have and everything else.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's just my shout out to the Tampines Rovers. But hey, LCS, I'm still your fan, man. Come on, let's do this, boys.